You have something that is uniquely yours that you can talk about. So first and foremost, you need to be bankable. Then the second part, it's short, specific background. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I've got so many things to talk about. No. You start with the audience. You start with their pains before you start with your story.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that brings me to my favorite part of this evening. And that is where I get to sit back and learn. Actually, I probably won't be doing too much sitting back. I'll be taking notes furiously. I have heard Steve speak before, and I know that some of you have also heard Steve speak before, and he always comes out with good information. The thing I like about Steve is that he's not theory. What he teaches and what he speaks about comes from his own experience, and what he's tried and what he's tested and what is working from his own experience. So tonight is no exception. I was talking to him just before this about how this came about, the PodGuesting. So I think that's a phrase that he's coined himself, but I quite like it because it really describes the difference between podcasting and marketing through being on someone else's podcast. So for those of you that don't know Steve, he has been in the online world for probably longer than I've known him, I think. And he is a marketing expert. He's a 9-time Amazon best-selling author, and he's got over 2 decades of experience in TV and video production. Some of you may have seen him. So when you were growing up as kids, those are the really young ones of you. The rest of you might have had your kids watching Steve on TV as well too. But having crafted multiple successful businesses of his own, Steve now specializes in coaching entrepreneurs to become sought-after podcast guests. And he's got an absolute wealth of knowledge. And as I say, he's got a proven track record because he teaches what he preaches. And his insights are really guaranteed to revolutionize your approach to storytelling and business growth. So let's put our hands together and welcome to the stage, Steve Brossman.
Hey, Nick, thanks, buddy. I'm going to get stuck straight into this. I've got a couple of slides here. But while we've still got all the screens, how many people here actually run their own podcast? And got just a few of those. That's good. How many of you have been on a podcast, somebody else's podcast, in the last 6 months? Okay. How many regularly get on podcasts, at least 1 or 2 per month? And how many of you are generating 6 figures in income just from being on podcasts? Not many putting your hands up for that one. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's not just getting on, telling your story, sharing. Well, a lot of people are told, get on there and share your story. Get on there and share your expertise. Give them a link. Then basically what you need to do after that is get on your knees, put your hands together and look skyward, because that's about what's going to happen. Because when you follow that formula, it's not going to happen. What I'm going to be talking about to start with tonight, and I'm going to get into share screen right now, is going to flip through that bit. We are talking about your bankable story. Now, this came about very quickly as I was working with my son. He's getting into branding. He's partnering with me in most of my businesses. And we were doing some research and we're looking at creating your brand story, creating your signature story. And most people say you create your story and you tell your story to build rapport. You probably heard that, build rapport with the audience. Tell your story so they get to know you. What about telling a story that builds rapport and revenue? How many just wave at me? I can see handful. Would you like get rapport and revenue? Because that's what your bankable story is all about. This is all part of our Podcast Profits fast track program. And it all came about as we were going through. It was about the third course we were running. And then it was like, it all hit me. Creating your bankable story, how to tell your story in a short form so it, listen to this, enhances and accelerates the desire for people to work with you. Now, it would be nice, I guess, for people to sit back after your story and people will say, gee, they've had an interesting life. Or would you prefer to have people say, oh, God, I've got to work with that person? Do you want to clap? Yeah, I spent thousands of dollars on my speak to sell. And one of the things that our trainers would always say, do you want them to clap or do you want them to throw money? Do you want a standing ovation or do you want a full bank account? So everything that I'm teaching tonight has nothing to do with being pitchy or salesy. Okay? This is to be the ante. It's so you don't have to. So your bankable story needs to be memorable. It's unique. It's all about you. It's desirable. It's talking about what your people want. And to make it really bankable, it's referable. People remember it. They remember the value, the outcomes, and what it's all about. So I'm going to really, really quickly get through the framework. First and foremost, you need to be bankable. You need to have something, product or service or something that is already of value to people and you are selling. You need to be a unique authority. You have a solution. You have your language. And ideally, for those of you who've done the training with me, you have a blueprint. You have something that is uniquely yours that you can talk about. So first and foremost, you need to be bankable. Then the second part, it's short, specific background. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I've got so many things to talk about. No. You start with the audience. You start with their pains before you start with your story. It needs to start with the JLM effect, the just like me. The part of your story. It could be a slither of your story. That is what they are feeling right now. It's not your whole story. It could be really interesting parts all over the place, but you are telling your story, the part that is most appropriate to them, a similar problem that you have experienced. Now, it might be you or it might be a client that you have helped. Okay? So you don't have to have experienced all the failures and everything that your prospects have experienced. You've got experience in that area, and you could use a client's part of the story as well. Then your aha. Authentically you, helpful and actionable. AHA. Authentically you. That means it's unique. It's all about you. Authentically you. It's helpful and it's actionable. That's your aha moment. It's like, oh, I suddenly realized, and then I saw this, I was struggling, I was feeling this. And you talk about what it was costing you, pain, financial or emotive, what it was costing you not to have the solution. Then you had the solution. Your solution can be earned or learned. You could have worked it all out by yourself, or you could have learnt it and then molded it into yours. And the next one, how it is now helping people. And this is what I do. And here are the results that I am getting because of my system and helping people. So when you have crafted your story, you can do this in 2 to 3 minutes. I've done it in less than 2 minutes. You can do it in 2 to 3 days. You can do it in 30 minutes. But when you have the flow of being able to connect, share with the people, get that identification, have the people say, yes, I want that. The end result, you go from JLM to the Harry Met Sally effect. I want what they're having. So you're talking about people that have gone through the same issues, how you have helped them. And in the end, they say, okay, in the beginning, they're saying, This person must empathize with me because they've gone through what I have. You're on the same page. You're wrapping your arms around them. They're feeling, yes, we are together. The way that I liken it, you go to a footy match, a basketball match or whatever, there's three people standing there. One of them has the same uniform as the team that you barrack for. One of them has the opposition's team colours on, and one of them is just dressed in civvies. You've got a choice. You have to go and talk to one. Who do you talk to? The person that has the same uniform as you. The beginning of the story, you're putting on the same uniform as the person you are talking to. You don't start with what interesting part of my story shall I tell? You start with the audience. What are they going through? What are their pains? What are they feeling? What part of my story or client story will relate to them right now? 30 to 40 seconds, they've got to be into the just like me. Okay. Now, we just did a full 2.5 hour boardroom. We had 9 people in there, and we just worked for 2.5 hours creating your bankable story. Now, your bankable story can be used in PodGuesting. It can and should be used in all forms of business. It could be used in your networking. Your bankable story is the foundation for so much of your marketing. Now, Nick, you would agree as one of the marketers in here that once you've got this bankable story as a foundation, that people identify with you, they come along for the journey, they get excited about the results that you're getting. You can see now that this type of story is designed specifically to enhance and accelerate your desirability. Okay, so that's the bankable story. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to rip into PodGuesting and how that's the blueprint on how we create and use it. Okay, PodGuesting. This is the exact blueprint that I do 6 figures every year just from being a podcast guest. And I'm going to draw on it. Most people will start off and get on the podcast. They will probably avoid a pre-call, a chat. It's just a tech chat. I'm just going to give them my questions and that'll do. I'm going to tell you the money is in the pre-chat. Your job in the pre-chat is to excite the host. Excite the host so that they, at the worst, are going to give you the absolute best introduction. They're going to do the best promotion. They can't wait to have you on. I did one 2 weeks ago that followed my PodGuest profits formula to a T 2 weeks ago. And he was so excited. He gave me the best introduction that I have had in over 5 years of PodGuesting because I excited the host. But ideally, you're going to excite the host one way so that they're going to give you a great wrap, and there's lots of energy. It's all about the energy. Write energy down in capital letters. It is the energy flow that will make the people flow to you. Now, when you excite the host, and this happens roughly 30 to 40% of the time now, because we spent the first 2 weeks of PodGuest profits on the pre-chat call. The first 2 weeks on how to have a great pre-chat call to build your business. Now, at the end of it, the host might be at the end of the podcast or at the end of the call. You want them to get so excited because of what you've done. It's like, hey, listen, let's do the podcast, but I think there might be something else that we could do together. Hallelujah. Hadn't thought of that. And say, well, let's have a chat after it. And I think there is something we can work together on as well. They might promote something that you're doing. They might partner with you. They could promote your events, become an affiliate, partner with you in programs and or products. When you do it right, here is where the leverage is. Here is linear. A lot of people will get on and they will try and deliver a great amount of information. They will be the professor. You want to write this down. Be the prize, not the professor. Because what I see over and over again, they'll just go info, 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 info. And then at the end, they're waiting for the host to say, so how can people contact you? If you get to that point, you are dead in the water. Dead in the water. Okay, we teach different ways. So I'm going to get into that with the next slide. So you're working with the audience. Ideally, they will go to a link. There might be a download. There might be book a call. There might be something one at a time. Ideally, later on, they might buy something for you or they might refer you on. That's the one at a time. When you're working on the leverage side of it, this is where the magic happens. And the good thing is, you don't have to be a celebrity to make money, and you don't have to be on the biggest podcasts to make money. One lady I worked with last year, she said, Steve, I'd love you to be on my podcast. It's not a really big one. I said, your people are great. I know I could add value. Let's make it happen. And she was so excited. She hosted an event and was an affiliate for 2 more. And I guarantee that none of her episodes have had more than 100 downloads. But she generated over $16,000 into my account in 6 months by collaborating and partnering and treating her with respect. Anybody that is the right fit, I will treat as a $20,000 host. I might make nothing, but I give the value as if somewhere along the line, they're going to generate $20,000 back to me. I treat everybody with that respect and the energy and put the homework in, whether it comes back immediately or not, you give those people the respect that they do. So just a small person delivered some awesome value right through there. So can you see this whole blueprint? It is not just get on, deliver some information, give them a link, and hope the hell they do something. No, it is a whole ecosystem that you could build when you have clarity on how you can build and leverage it with the people. Here's the little slide, be the prize, not the professor. I saw it over and over again. The person I was telling Nick about that started all this off, she was a client, just got started. She said, Steve, I'm paying to get on 2 to 3 per week. And I haven't got a client in 3 months. And I listened, and I honestly felt like there were 2 people having a coffee in the corner of a big shed with their back turned to me and having a good time geeking out and not inviting anybody in. And when I listened to so many others, it was the host and the guest having a great time, giving lots of great information, of which everybody just clapped and walked out the door and said, wow, that was nice. No. There are 3 relationships in a podcast. Think about this. If you do it right and you work with the host and you excite them on the pre-chat call, your relationship with them has gone through the roof. You've got a great relationship before you get on. Okay. Do your homework, get on. That call is valuable. Then there is also you and the audience. It is your job to bring the audience in. And I would do that at times. And let's just say I can see Jeff's face on the screen. Say, Jeff, this is just for your people. I've got this great tip that I'm going to give your people right now. What have I done? I've focused it on the audience. I've given them a dose of oxytocin, the belonging drug. They've dropped their social media. They've put their phone down. They've picked up their pen, but they feel good because I've just wrapped my arms around them. Jeff, this is just for your people. Wow, I feel pretty special now. And I'm now creating a deeper relationship. I'm giving them a surge of that oxytocin. And how can I elevate and edify the host in front of the audience? Because that's the other relationship. I am only there because of the host. The audience is there because of the host. And ideally, they come to listen to me. And we've got 2 Debbies Here, both of them on my screen. That's cool. Double Debbie today. And Deb, you would know from all the fantastic work that you do in this area, this, and this. So I've just elevated Debbie in front of her audience. I've given her a dose of dopamine, that achievement, that feel-good drug. And then the audience is saying, wow, we've got this really cool host because the guests think they're fantastic. So what we're doing here is stirring some hormonal reactions and making everybody feel good. Not just great information, but feel good. And what that is doing is creating a relationship that they don't want to end. And as you're going through, and I've got Nick here, I've given Nick some fantastic, or the team some fantastic information. And I'll probably go back to Nick and listen to this very carefully. It's one of the little scripts and frameworks that we teach. So Nick, I'm sure your people will love that. And I know they're going to get some great value out of just implementing that, wouldn't they? Nick's going to come back and probably give me a compliment. I'm seeding a compliment. He'd say, yeah, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. By the way, Nick, I've got something just for your people at the end. Not only will they get that, but they'll get this and they'll get this. And we'll talk about that at the end. So how many of you have heard somebody say, I have a free gift? Yeah, I have a free gift for you. Yeah, no, cut it out. It is no longer part of your vocabulary. A free gift is a throwaway piece of rubbish, the same that you give everybody else to get their email address so you can spam the crap out of them. That's the perceived value of a free gift. I could have a free gift, but I'm never going to call it that. I've got something special just for your people that's going to deliver result. They're going to love it. You sell the value of the free gift early and you build the excitement. It is the energy flow, which is the new book that's coming out in 2 months' time called Flow Selling, all about the energy flow. So you've got people running to you asking to buy. You can have that on your podcast. So when you have the 3 relationships and you're aware of those 3 relationships, makes a massive difference. I'm going to do this in about 3, maybe 4 minutes max. A couple of you I know have seen this, but it works in business. It works in high-level sales. I did it on a podcast that is released, high-level leadership sales training to 50,000 sales leaders, and it goes out in 2 weeks' time. And they are adopting this. This is your conversation formula. And I've broken all of my rules. I've got some engagement backwards and forwards, but if this was a sales approach, I would be doing it totally different. This is how you deliver a talk on a podcast. You deliver a presentation. You do a sales pitch. Data. Give a packet of information. Give a nice packet of information. Then what most people will do, like I've done tonight, I've thrown a lot at you, or give another packet, another packet, another packet. No, then you do a story. Because we remember stories. We don't just remember a story. This is a very well-crafted story. We call them hero or horror stories. Now, the hero story is almost like the Bankable story, but about somebody else. What they were suffering, which is just like the person. They might be having a doubt, like an objection. So you tell a story about that. So the narrative starts. You talk about the system, the part of your blueprint that you use to overcome that. And then you talk about the outcomes. So you got your data and you got your narrative. Then you quantify. Now, if you knew on average that you would be able to generate 1 client on average, sometimes 2, sometimes none, on average per podcast that you do, what would that mean to you? And would you be prepared to spend time to get on 2 per week? Oh, sorry, 2 per month, not per week. That's too many. Nobody ever needs to work that hard. The reason I do podcasting, I'm lazy. I don't want to host a podcast. People say to me, Steve, do you have a podcast? I said, no, I make more money going on other people's. And I'm lazy. But I do my homework. I work out who their people are, what are their pains, what do I need to talk to them about, what is the host, what are their formulas. Yeah, I spend the time, but it's valid marketing. If I know that I'm going to get on and I'm going to work with somebody, I've had somebody that's generated over 75,000 just from working with them, a collaboration. Okay. So data, narrative, quantify, and confirm. So what I did with you then, there's some information, tell a story. What would it mean to you monetarily wise if you did 2 podcasts a month and generated 1 new client? You do 2 podcasts a month and you do 1 event per month from those podcasts. Now, 1 event could mean $5, $10, $20, $50,000. Would that be worthwhile to do this? And confirm. Now, I could confirm through the host. And hey, Ron, I know that your people are going to love this, but I could just imagine them getting ABC value out of what I've just told them. And Ron would nod his head and say, yeah, my people will be getting great value from this. They're confirming. And his people at home will be confirming and say, yeah, they're getting great value out of this. So I know many of you may, Sashua Bene, she's up your way. I know she's in part of some of the BX, etc. I got this from her in Facebook last week. She's gone through my blueprint conversion system and PodGuesting. And she said that the DNQC is really starting to flow. I'm closing 100% by using the DNQC conversation formula. That's just give some information, tell the story around it. Could you see that working for you? Yes. If this was to work for you, let's calculate what it would mean. Then we work on the agreed implementable value. If we did this, what would it mean? Yes. Could you see it happening? Yep. Is that a priority of yours right now? Yes. Great. It's hard for them to say no then, is it? They've calculated it with you. So that's a 10th of the ins and the outs. But the goal for tonight was to give you the framework and the understanding that a story is not just a story. You can create a bankable story that people will want to work with you with. Showing you the overall blueprint on how you can use being a pod guest, as in get invited. In fact, today I got an email, Steve. Yeah, my people loved your talk. It's probably time you got back again. Is there something else we can have a chat on? By the way, does any of your people have information that would be good for my people? And I'm just about to give them a list of people to get on, because I know they will do a great job for them as well. So it was to show an overall framework that is not normally shown on PodGuesting, because most of it is get on, talk, tell a story, send them to a link, and hope like hell. But if you've seen the bigger picture, it might be worthwhile to investigate that. And here I come bearing gifts. Nick and or the team have got the 2 links to put in the chat. I have written a back pocket guide. It's about a 30-minute read. It is the art and the science of becoming a 6-figure pod guest. So if you want to just grab that, the link will be in there. Just save that. And if you want more than 30 minutes and you want this to be pulled apart, put back together again in a 90-minute masterclass, it's free on the 18th of April. We're all going to be on the same time, so you don't have to convert it. It'll be 9 a.m. on the 18th. Again, the link's in there. You are all welcome to come if you can put up with another 90 minutes of me. So they're going in there. I'm going off share screen, and I'm in your hands, Nick, to answer any and all of your questions.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Steve. So there are a few questions that popped up in chat there. I'm just going to go back and have a look through them here. Where are we here? Actually, if you do have a question, just hit the raised hand icon and we'll see that, and then we can bring you in. Or you can drop it into chat as well too. Right, just scrolling through chat right now. Someone says it was great to Lubio. Great to have a session with Steve at Bondi.
Yes. And it was actually a bona fide decent session, not just a drinking session. It was BX Bondi's 100th.
Oh, there we go.
It was really nice, and I love what you're doing there. We'll definitely get in touch again.
For sure. Got your stuff here. All good.
There's a question there about what was that aha formula again?
The aha moment is typically just your aha moment. And I just like to try and make acronyms out of bloody anything. So I created an acronym. A is authentically you. It's your unique aha. You're a unique awakening. It's helpful. It wasn't just an aha about you. It's an aha on how you could help the people. And the second A is actionable. One of my clients from Switzerland last Tuesday, this time, we were on our call and we were talking about her speaking, and she downloaded Steve Jobs' 9 points that he uses in speaking. And he didn't have the ah moment. He had the holy shit moment. He said, you talk about the moment when you just had that bolt of lightning. Now, the bolt of lightning that I had for creating your bankable story was 5 kilometers into a 50K ride. I was just riding along, thinking about stuff, and then all of a sudden, bankable. Okay. And for the next 25K, I built the presentation, built the blueprint, and then went home and ripped it all up, put it all together.
So that's the real reason why we're out cycling.
Yeah. I go once a week by myself. Don't talk to anybody. I just get out, because the science behind it, and this is good for people to know as well, while you go walking by yourself or you listen to music, is the conscious is focused on staying vertical and avoiding cars. So it's got one thing to look at. It's not bouncing all over the place. And that allows your subconscious to have a hell of a time bouncing around in there. So if you keep it focused on one thing, if you're sitting at your desk, your conscious will go from here to here to here to here to here to here. But if you focus on one thing, you'll have some great aha moments.
Well, I've got another question here, or the eternal question. Where do we find podcasts to be guests on?
I'm not sure whether you've heard of it or not. There's a thing that you can type in, PodGuesting. Look, there are podcast platforms. There are directories. There's got to be at least 100 different directories that you could look at. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Or you could go onto Google and just say top 100 Australian podcasts on, and then it'll pop up with at least 5 or 6 different lists that you could just go and find. So a lot of people ask me, how do I find the best host? You should start with the best audience. Who is it that you could add the most value to? Then you find the host for those people. Don't look for the hosts with the biggest podcast and following, etc. Who can you add the best value to? They're going to get the most excited. They're going to have the most energy flowing through, and you're going to get a higher proportion of those wanting to work with you because you've taken the time to talk to them. So yeah, look for the hosts, but also make sure that they've got the right people for you.
And of course, there's podcast platforms out there like iTunes and Spotify. And chances are, if you're like me, I listen to a whole range of podcasts. And some of those are the ones that I've reached out to, and I have ended up on their podcasts.
I've just gone into some of my notes. from our training. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 5. Matchmaker FM is all about podcasts. It's not a dating site. There's Podmatch, Matchmaker, Podbooker, Podcast Directory, and Listen Notes. Listen Notes will tell you the size, the ranking, the engagement, and all those as well. So there's some resources in there for you.
So when it comes to podcasts, there are a number of podcasts that are asking for you to pay for them to be on the podcast. But how do you rate whether, you should be paying to be on it, or, whether it's, you're not paying, it's essentially free for you, but a collaboration?
I don't pay to get on any podcast. I'm just not egotistical. It's them being egotistical. And somebody might say, hey, listen, I'll ask X dollars to help contribute to this. And if they're a really nice person and they're just doing a really good job, then I don't mind just saying, hey, listen, here's your $25 fee. I'm happy to jump on. I'm happy to keep you going, those sorts of things. But if you say, no, it's a flat $47, $9,700 to get on my podcast, no. They're not doing it for the right reasons, and potentially they're not the right people. So it's a good question, Nick. And the fact is there's 2.3 million podcasts out there. When you get to 2,299,999 and you're running out of podcasts to get on, then you might want to pay. But until then, don't worry about it. There's so many others there that would be grateful to have you on. And
in fact, if you are a podcaster, often the biggest challenge is getting guests. So, if you've got a good guest that comes along, then it's easy to say yes to them.
Yeah, I've worked with a number of agencies, and when I was talking about partnerships in the blueprint there, I've got some agencies and I've got some speaker trainers that actually include and pay for PodGuest Profits training as a part of their course. I'm speaking for one next week for her to sell her book writing program. And as a part of that book writing program, they get my course and she pays me. So it's a partnership there to be able to put that together. And so that's always an option. Whoever you work with, you can create partnerships and put your resources together, and it makes a massive difference. It's great not to have to sell it. Somebody else is selling your programs for you. I think we've got Deb with her hand up.
Debbie there, yep.
Yeah, I was just going to add as well to that. And Steve, that's absolutely brilliant information, and all the directories and everything else. Thanks, Nick, as well. I just wanted to add to one of our members. I've just put it in the chat. Steve is also part of this as well. Event Raptor, their website is on there. You can go onto their website, and they have 2 meetings a month, which is like, I call it like a speed dating meeting, but for podcasters and for event people. So podcasters to find guests to find podcasts to be on, events to find speakers, speakers to find events. You can also, on their directory, you can put your profile on for no charge at all. And you can also see there's a whole lot of events that go up, and you can choose if you want to actually put your hand up to speak at any of those events as well. And they run it really well. It's really good. So I'm on that. And Steve's on that, and a number of people we know are on that as well.
Excellent. Looks like I'll be on that shortly as well too.
Nick's on that as well.
Yeah, it's the only issue is the timing, because he runs it out of Europe. But yeah, they're brilliant, beautiful people. It's a well-run platform.
Definitely. And also too, just to let you know, if you scroll down on their website, then you'll see the event that they've got that you can put your name down to, and then you'll be put on their mailing list, and you can decide whether you want to go or not. And Steve's right, at the moment, because of our time changes as well, the time is like, but they are looking at more friendly times towards us as well. So yeah. And just Steve, Jen and I have actually just collaborated on a podcast as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Stevie. We've got another question from Lubron.
Yeah, thanks, Nick, and thanks, Stephen, again. I love what you are sharing, and today. So last time I didn't see your slides, so you were trying to
That's
show
right.
everything with your hands. So now I can see even better because I'm a visualizer. So I love your triangle with the Trinity relationship that you have showed before, where again many guests are coming and they think, oh, I'm coming as a guest, and then I will have a lot of visibility and I'll get a lot of sales. But from a podcaster, so question how I can showcase in the best way my guest so he can get the best value. So this is the question to you, but to everyone else, I put my notes about my podcast, so you can come to my podcast, but probably after you get in touch with Steve and you learn how to showcase better.
The good thing about what I teach is it's very replicable as a host and as a guest. The pre-chat can be a great time to work out, and I talk about the 4 Ps, which, we only had briefly there, is, partner and promote is one of the things that you can talk about, and you work out, is this a person that we could do stuff together later? But as the host, you should be able to use a lot of the skills that I've been talking about. It's well, hey, we got here Nobby. I'm the host. Hey, Nobby, can you tell my people what we were talking about earlier? Because I really loved it. You were giving such value. Can you just share that with my people about this? So I've then just elevated and edified him again in front of the people. He's the host, and he's now got to talk to the microphone and or the camera as if he's speaking directly to the people. So that's inviting them in. It's continually inviting them in and encouraging the relationship. You also, I tell my people not to wait to the end and then preempt and build the energy towards whatever they've got as the giveaway or the next step. So you as the host will say, what is it you've got? What's in it? And what's the value of that? Great. I might drop that in a little early instead of waiting to the end. So be ready to give some insights about what's in it. So you as the host would say, hey, listen, Jeff, you've got this something special you're going to give at the end. We'll talk about it a bit later. But what's one of the key nuggets that they're going to get when they download this? So you're doing everything that I'm teaching the guests to do, because chances are the hosts don't do it. They will just do the Q&A or have a great chat. All of this, the DNQC, all fits in a conversational framework as well. And Gordon's just asked me a question. Oh, thanks for that, Gordon. Now here is, and I'll give a little bit of technical information. In fact, one of the people we worked with last year, they were having exactly the same problem, probably the same as many of your people are having, and blah, 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 blah. And when we did this, they got these results, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure many of your people would love those results as well. Now that's the DNQC in a 20-second conversational framework, and they're just getting subconsciously, I've got some information, I've seen how other people have used it, they've got great results, I want those results. So give me the bloody link, I'm ready. So when you know how to flow, either as the host or the guest through that DNQC in everything that you do, it will just flow nicely. And as Sashua said, she's got it flowing nicely, and now she closes 100%. Now, those of you know Sash, she's not a high pressure salesperson at all. She just does really nice leadership, coaching and training, and she just has great conversations, follows the framework. So as a host or a guest, it all fits together.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. Definitely I know Sashua, so she's a really great person. And I'm trying to ask my guests as well, what kind of questions should I ask you, for example, that to showcase your experience? And again, but over to you. So whoever wants to come to my Better Scope podcast, you have the links and show you where you are better in.
Cool.
And that link is in chat there, isn't it, Livio? So you're looking for guests, right?
Yeah, look, my podcast is a better scope. Like is a podcast for entrepreneurs as well, about entrepreneurs and about, like, someone can tell about mortgages, someone can tell about coaching, Steve can tell about like how to promote you in the showcase you in the best way. So again, if you are best in something, you're welcome to come to my podcast and again to showcase where you're the best in. Yes, you're welcome.
Excellent. Thanks, Leo. Steve, just
Yeah, bud.
just while we're waiting for some more questions there, there's obviously some rookie errors or rookie mistakes that you see people making all the time. What are some of those ones that people make that should be avoided at all costs, and how should they address it, or how should they do it differently?
Okay. Has anybody ever heard this at a networking event, or potentially saying that they wanted to get on somebody's podcast? If they say, so what can you talk on? And have you ever heard, I am passionate about this and I can talk on this? Has anybody ever heard that at a networking event or at all? Yeah. Okay. Ban it. It is banned from all of our people's vocabulary once they've done the training. Because what you're saying is, I am passionate about this and I can talk on this. Please wheel out the soapbox, get out of my road, and I'm going to talk and just get on, because I'm just going to get on there and talk about what I want to talk about and not shut up. How do you overcome that? You've done your homework. You know who the people are that are going to be the audience. You know a couple of the pains that they've got. And when you're talking to the host, ideally in the pre-chat, and it might be, we've got a couple of Jeffs here. We've got Roz sitting in there. Roz, from what I understand about your guests, and I've had a quick look around your website and listened to a number of your podcasts, they're suffering from, I won't say suffer, but here's a couple of the pains that they've had. Two of the key points that I'm going to give your people are this, this, and this, so that they can, which means they're going to be able to do this. Would that be of value to your people? She's already nodding. I didn't even say anything. And again, it's the tonality. So I've listened, I've looked. Here's a couple of things that I could see. Here are things I'm going to give your people. We've got scripts and frameworks. It is, I'm going to teach your people this. Never say teach. Never. It's, I'm going to tell your people to shut up, sit down, get out your pens and pencils, because I'm going to lecture the crap out of them. Pardon me for being a little bit crass, but I get so frustrated when people do that. Okay. So it's, no, I'm going to give your people this, and they're going to be able to get value out of it because of this. Then you go back to get the confirmation. Roz, would that be of value to your people? Now, you're showing you've done your homework, you're professional, you're coming from a place of giving. You are going to get the gig. And they are going to say, wow, this person is just phenomenal. Being a dynamic presenter doesn't mean you have to be the biggest and the loudest. It just means that, yeah, this person is really going to be of great value for my people. And when you turn the I am passionate about this and I can speak on this around, we got the whole script and the framework. I said we spend 2 weeks on the pre-chat call to make sure you actually get on the podcast. Good question, Nick.
And what about the age-old sales? Like, is it acceptable to sell on a podcast, or if you are selling, how would you approach that so that it's not awkward, or the podcast host is not feeling like you are, sort of pillaging his audience and client base?
The biggest thing that you need to, and everybody needs to think about at any particular part of the sales funnel, you're only ever selling one thing: the next step. So if you do have a course or a program that you want to sell, and mostly you would do it over the phone, or sorry, over Zoom, It's just like we're having our build the buyer's energy. It's all about building the buyer's energy. You're getting them to that point of, I've got to do this. I've got to take that next step. I've got to get on this call. Now, if any of you have gone through my blueprint conversion system training that probably last did about 18 months ago, and I know a couple of you have done it here, we say never, ever, ever call the call a discovery call. When you call it a discovery call, you reduce the buying energy 37%. It's like, oh, I'm all excited. I've got one of those discovery calls. That's a sales call, isn't it? Yes. Oh, okay. I'm a bit deflated now. But you build, just as I showed earlier, build the value of the free thing you're giving away, build the value of the call, because I've got my prominence and persuasion review, how you're standing out in the marketplace and what your sales process is like. I've got the authority unpack call where we pull apart who you are, what you do, and put together your authority. They're all sales calls. They're all discovery calls, but there's perceived value in the actual call. So if you are looking to sell something, you sell the value of the next step. So all the way through, you can talk about the programs. You can talk about how you've used that program to help people. You know, the narrative in DNQC, you slip in the narrative about, you know, when I worked with this person, we did this and they got these results. So you're selling the value of the program within the DNQC, but you're not actually, hey, buy my program. But they get excited, just like the Bankable story. You get to the end of it. It's when Harry met Sally. Well, I want what those people had. How do I get it? Well, I better get on a call and he's going to tell me how I get what those got. And it looks like it's going to be through his program. So it's a flow, not a educate pitch. And there's the change of energy. And I'm sure many of you have seen it in presentations, you've seen it in webinars, that they'll educate, and then the energy of the host changes. I've got to sell now. I've got to get into the pitch. I'm into my sales slides and it all changes. So if you are selling, Nick, you start at the beginning, not pitching, but building the energy to create the momentum that they don't want to stop. And there will never be a salesy pitch if you do it that way.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Any other questions? Either just pop up your hand, drop them into chat. Grab Steve while he's here. All right, what have we got? All right, so I've got a question here. What does one charge for a podcast appearance? So sounds like what you're asking there is, should you be charging, you know, do you charge as a guest on a podcast?
I've never asked, never been offered, and in preference, I would never want money because I get paid to speak at events. I get paid as a paid speaker. I prefer not to. I'd rather make an offer of some description. And I don't know too many people who demand a fee and or should get one. You might get somebody who would drag 100,000 people in because of who they are. Then you might give them a fee. But I don't see why. No, I don't know anything about fees. I don't look for them. I don't ask for them. And I haven't heard of too many people who offer them.
And it's quite a different model to be charging a fee than to be using it as your part of your funnel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So Lubio, could you also show that abbreviation? It is D for data, N for narrative, Q for quantify, and C for confirm.
Thank you.
Pete's got his hand up. Data, narrative, quantify. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Who did you see with a hand up?
Pete Beckenham.
Peter, there we go.
Hi, Steve. Good to see you, matey.
Good to see you again, buddy.
Very quickly, can you talk too long on a podcast?
Yes.
Any ideas of what the ideal length of time could be to make sure you maximize the opportunity of using what you've got to have a bankable opportunity?
The best way to think about it, it's not the actual length of the podcast, but the rallies. Think of being on a podcast as a tennis match. They hit something over the net, you hit it back, you hit it over, you back. The last thing you want is for them to hit it over the net and you go on a 10-minute monologue.
Right.
It's like watching somebody hit the ball up against the wall and nobody really gets excited about that. So, and again, if you follow the DNQC framework, you'll quickly get through that in about 1.5 to 2 minutes max. And you want to go back. You want to go back to the host to get them to confirm that that was fantastic and his people will love it. So just like a tennis match, a good player will hit the ball back over the net, guiding the other person to where they want them to go. When you learn to be a really top-notch guest, you can actually finish your answers and guide the host to where you want them next. And that's a really fun way to have a great conversation is finishing the answer off and guiding them as to what you want them to do next.
Thanks very much, Steve. Good to see you. Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate. Deb,
All right.
you're back on again? Yep.
Just a quick question. When you're talking to the host about promotional partner collaborations, would you do that before or would you make a follow-up call after the podcast and do it then?
Test the water.
Okay.
Just you'll know that if and the way that I would do it and done it very successfully is when we're going through, I will pull out one of my blueprints and I'll just say, I'll go up Mark here. Hey, Mark, look, this is how I work with people. This is the blueprint on how we do this, this, and this. But this bit here and this bit here, they're the really key things that I'm going to share with your people, and they're going to get them because of this, this, and this, and it's going to be great value. Would that work for you? Yeah. Anything else that you think I should cover? And then ideally they'll say, well, tell me a little bit more about how you work. Okay, sure. While it's here. And then we can have the discussion. And if I feel that now's not the right time, I don't. We get to the end of it. It was like Ron on that big sales one. It was at a high level. I was quite nervous about speaking to these people. So I got him all excited about what we were talking about. We did the actual recording. And then it was just, Ron, I reckon we should stay in touch because I reckon we could probably do something really cool together. And that was it. Open the door. He said, I'd love that too. He said, we could throw this around and we could probably do this. And he said, well, I've got 50,000 on my list and I'm sure we could do something. I said, yeah, mate, let's leave it. This is coming out. Like we'll have a chat the week before it comes out and we'll see what we can do together. What do you reckon? Yeah, great. That's it. Not pitchy or salesy. One of the girls in February did the course and actually did an event with the host. I made $16,000 before she even recorded the podcast. It just, they hit it off. Hey, we should do something together. Let's do it. And off they went. So it's respectful, get them excited and then see, throw out the bait. And if they take it, great. But you're not trying to pitch all the time.
Thank you.
I'm totally against pitching. So I got something for you to buy right now, and it's a one-time offer only. And
excellent. Well, we have come to that time of the show, Steve, where we're sort of ending things up. But instead of sort of the one-time offer and the steak knives coming out, I think we've actually got something of value, which you are happy to give away to one lucky person today. We've got a special way of drawing it. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Yeah, I will work with you. I will have a call on your bankable story. I will work with you through the framework, make sure that you understand it. And if we've got enough time, you will walk away with your bankable story.
Excellent. All right. So what we'll do is let's bring up our wheel of names. What a great way to get started with your PodGuesting journey. Or if you are PodGuesting already, what a great way to actually frame it up in a way that it becomes bankable. So everybody's name is in this wheel of names. And of course, you've got to be here to win. So don't disappear just yet. We'll spin the wheel and let's see who our lucky winner is tonight. And a virtual drum roll, please, as we wait for the internet to tick it around. Our lucky winner is Roz. There we go. You still here, Roz?
She was a minute ago. I picked on her.
Yes, I heard that.
There she is.
There we go. She's here.
Thank you very much.
Sensational. Well, Nick's going to send me your details and I'm going to send you a call link and we're going to jump on and have a call. But you have 30 seconds to tell me who you are and what you do so I can get prepared or run away, one or the other.
Oops. Who I am and what I do, yeah, I'm still discovering that. I'm a psychic medium, but wanting to delve into the world of authoring, writing, and that sort of thing. So a little bit of change of direction happening. So I learn a lot.
It might be a good timing and a valuable call for you to really get clarity to be able to put into your story. So you'll get a link. It'll book in officially for 30, but it'll be a 60-minute chat. Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
So I'll get all the stuff from Nick. He'll send it to me. Or if you want to put your email address in there and I'll just save the chat and I'll just take care and do it all myself if you like.
We'll do the intro anyway, Steve. Just
okay. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, buddy.
So, yep.
Oh,
but no, it's in chat as well too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, well done, Roz. That's excellent. You have been a regular on the show, so it's always good to see you being rewarded, taking away something that's of real value tonight. So let's put our hands together and give Steve a big round of applause for tonight. I know that there's a ton of information in there to take away and learn from. And of course, if you enjoyed tonight and there are some things that you missed, well, you can always catch it on the replay, which will be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow, be up there tomorrow afternoon. So best thing to do, links in the chat. If you click on that link, go and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that little bell and then you'll get a notification as soon as it's up there for you to watch it again. Of course, if you know anyone else that you think this would be valuable for as well too, feel free to share that link with them also. We're going to drop Steve's 2 links back into chat as well too, so that if you do want to pick up that, was it the checklist or the guide?
Yeah, the back pocket guide, 6-figure podcast, and come to the masterclass and we'll pull apart and put this back together again in a lot more detail.
Excellent. So both of those links are in chat now. Now is the best time to save it. So if you go to those 3 little dots, either on the top right of chat or down the bottom of chat, go and save that now. And once you've saved it, click on the link that takes you through to that download folder. So you've got it open, then you can just click through and explore the links for the Call Online tools and for Steve's things in here as well too. All right. Well, look, thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Thanks, Steve, for sharing your wisdom tonight as well too. I hope everyone's taken something of value away. Feel free to comment in the Facebook group or on social media just to let everybody else know what they missed out on. Otherwise, we will see you all back here again, same time, same place next week. Have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.